Cool.
Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
Friends of the Internet podcast with me, JJ.
And me, Darren, or White Dragon.
And I am Jess, or Jessadoodle.
There we go. And if you could just say, welcome to the Friends of the Internet.
Welcome to the Friends of the Internet.
Done. Solid. All right, we're good. We can wrap this up, actually. We can end the stream now.
Sweet. Awesome.
Good.
Came out
Yeah.
perfect.
All right, yeah. All right, we'll see you next week, guys. All right, so as the show goes, we kind of dive a little deep. Jess, if you want to introduce yourself first, and then we'll kind of get on to gaming news and the rest of the show.
Right. So I stream art on Twitch. I'm mostly a creative streamer. I design Twitch emotes for a variety of people, more often than not for Lil Simsy, who's a sim streamer. I sometimes play the occasional game. Usually it's Sims or Stardew or something like that. But yeah, that's what I'm about.
Heck
Cool.
yeah.
We have a lot of news to talk about. A lot of things going on in the gaming industry. Something off the top of my head is the senator that is trying to make pay-to-win microtransactions illegal. I think that's a pretty big deal. JJ, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it is nuts. It's very broad right now, but this U.S. Senator, his name's Josh Hawley, he just today at 12 o'clock announced a bill that would basically ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in games played by minors. A pretty broad label, to say the least, just games played by kids. That's Charlie. Whose developers knowingly allow minor players to engage in microtransactions. And they brought up Candy Crush, which is owned by Activision, as a little example, because one of the packs in there is a $150 luscious bundle in Candy Crush. And basically, it's a game designed for kids that enables kind of in-app, in-house gambling in a weird way, using their transactions instead. So it's interesting. I'm just going to grab a chip right now to ease Charlie.
Oh my god, he's so cute.
He looks so excited.
Yeah, he heard that can open, and he was
He's
right
just
on
sitting
top.
there.
of it.
See?
Go.
Now we're good for the rest of the stream. I could just sit here with a chip, and he'll be fine. Might
Nice.
salivate a little bit more, but...
Nice little dog puddle right on the floor.
And there you go. And then you get some dog ASMR of him eating a Pringle chip.
That's amazing.
So there you go.
Well, about these loot crates and these microtransactions, I wasn't understanding that it was for under 18 games and things like that. I think that makes a little bit more sense. I do know that most of these companies thrive on that, and if they do it wrong, their own community really dislikes them. And if they do it right, a lot of people dislike them anyway. But that's how they pay their bills. So initially, I thought it was unethical for a senator to say like, you guys can't do business this way.
Right.
But the fact that you're bringing the kids into it, I do think that's very important. And a lot of these kids barely have credit cards at 16, 17, 18 years old. They're using their parents' stuff. I think that is probably a better idea than just a blanket statement. Because I wouldn't agree with removing pay to win. I don't like pay to win. Don't get me wrong, but
I don't think a lot of people do.
I do believe this is still America. The last time I checked, and companies should have the right. The consumers will tell them if it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do by either paying to win or not.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll change their ways. I think even EA announced with their new game that they were not going to have that be a thing. Is that right? Yeah, so I'm pretty strongly opinionated on it, but if it's for the kids, I am for it.
Yeah, and that's what I think it seems like it's geared towards. I mean, in this article by Kotaku that brought it up, they got a statement from the Entertainment Software Association, so just the ESA and like the ESRB as a whole, and basically said that the video game industry lobbyist group, basically they sent over a statement shortly after the bill was introduced and basically stated that numerous countries, Ireland, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, and New Zealand, and the UK determined that loot boxes do not constitute gambling. And they've just kind of left it open. That's how microtransactions aren't banned in those companies, and they've already in those countries rather, and they've already looked into it as to see, if it's really, does it constitute gambling? Is this bad for kids? Which for me, just shortly before starting, I was talking to you earlier that, like for me, I played a lot of Counter-Strike and a lot of CSGO, and I played that when I was like 14, 15, and I totally gambled. At least with Steam, it's a little bit different because you're working with skin for cosmetic that actually has a true real-world value. You can go and you could flip skins on the Steam marketplace to a point where you can buy pretty much anything. I mean, software-wise, or physical. You could buy $1,000 VR headset by just flipping skins realistically on the Steam marketplace if you got to that point. But
So you were doing that as a teenager,
I was doing that as a teenager, and I 100% was gambling, like no doubt about it. Like I mean, that was in the heyday of like CS:GO lottery and like shady skin sites that were barely legal to begin with. And most of the time scam sites. But yeah, I mean, it's
well, yeah, that brings up a lot of things, like once they're able to, legislate on those types of laws, what's stopping them from, these not gambling, competitive sites where you could like win 50 cents or a dollar against, your
right.
friend. So like microtransactions are usually fractions of a dollar, or and they rely on volume and stuff like that to be profitable. But I think it's the start of a new age, and the people who matter are starting to pay attention. The people
Right.
who make these laws. Jess, are
Right.
you attracted to games that have pay to win qualities, or
I play Pokemon Go on my phone.
okay?
How
And
much?
I am quite guilty of buying a great many boxes. And
Okay.
it's not really, in that case, it's not so much gambling because you know exactly what you're getting.
Right.
But I do think that knowing myself and how I was with money when I was younger, I do think that trying to restrict kids under 18 being able to buy these things whenever they want is probably some kind of restriction, if not, maybe not necessarily banning it completely, but some kind of restriction on it would probably not be the worst idea.
Yeah, some kind of like age verification kind of thing.
Yeah, like
I
some
mean,
kind of safeguard, because also
yeah,
you did mention that a lot of them aren't using their own cards either.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that can get dangerous for a parent if their kid does not understand, like, bank accounts and money and how that kind of stuff works.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think a lot of kids have the concept of like of just money in general, or
Don't
especially when you
understand credit cards.
yeah,
I certainly did it when I was 15.
when they think 99 gets me a bunch of gems that can have me have fun in this game, like
Yeah.
they probably don't. They don't care. They don't understand that the money's coming from somewhere.
Yeah. Wow. So, what else do we have, Jeff? We have.
I'm dropping.
I know that PUBG was actually shut down in China and replaced by a near identical client or software. And now, what I actually found pretty cool is that they're paying homage to their Air Force, the Chinese Air Force. And the
Yeah.
characters look extremely similar. The gameplay is extremely similar. But PUBG announced that they shut it down due to the strict Chinese regulations on types of gameplay. They took out all the gore. They took out now when you kill someone in the Chinese version of PUBG, they actually sit up and wave goodbye, and there's no blood or anything like that. So I found that to be pretty
That's
interesting.
Welcome to communist China.
Yeah, and it has an interesting name too. I think it's called.
I mean, Tencent does own PUBG.
Game for Peace.
Aaron, you are correct. China #1. Yeah.
I would think that that's possibly a little bit dangerous for a child growing up. There's view of how death works and how
right.
shooting somebody works. When you shoot someone, they're not gonna be like bye. They're gonna die.
It's hard for me to grasp it too because the Chinese culture is so completely different than our own.
That's true, yeah.
And
weird.
so like I don't really
It's
understand
weird.
why they would do that, but it seems like they're keeping things as traditional to their culture and to paying homage or
Honestly,
respect.
That's a public safety officer yelling at someone. Just ignore that.
uh,
My windows are open. I'm not getting arrested.
All right.
What was I going to say? That just threw me off. Holy
Sorry.
crap. With PUBG though, I mean, for one, I'm not against it. I'm not like
I
maybe
do think it's probably really funny to watch.
as not even that, but like for me, I'm not against it as a PUBG player because we have been screaming for region lock forever, like since the game came out. Because PUBG, like during its time when it was actually really popping hardcore, it was just riddled with Chinese hackers, like just unplayable at certain points. Yeah, just Chinese hacks were just all rampant and ruined the game. Hacks ruined the game, and they ruined the fun for everybody. So by basically banning PUBG, and they have to have, they're going to play communist China PUBG instead with their weird, culture references in there. Honestly, fuck it. I'm okay with it because it's so shitty for me to be like, doesn't affect me. America, fuck yeah, brother. But in all honesty, for me, like, and every other PUBG player probably is like, this is a sigh of relief. This is like we just lost what's the population of China? That's out. We don't even have to worry about that now. I'll take it.
Their servers might take a little longer to load up now that it is somewhat region locked. There are a lot of Chinese players out there. Hackers, players, doesn't matter. That's a huge country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Emma Roney in the chat goes, taking call-ins. And the answer to that is yes, we're always taking call-ins.
However and whenever.
The only, how are we going to bring this up in the Discord? Because do you have it set for 4 people?
They could call in on a video if they like, but they probably don't want to do that. They probably just want their voice heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, when they pop in for voice, is it going to mess up?
No. As long as I could hear it, so will our viewers.
We good then. All right. Easy,
or maybe it might distort the cams too.
Aaron says it'll distort our cams, but
Janie wants to do video.
Well,
yeah, the video might take me like 30 seconds to set up or something.
If we have 30 seconds, I mean, we could, but that's on them.
Oh, I get what he's saying. Yeah, I'll have to like recrop everything and stuff like that.
It'll go to 4-way, not 3-way.
Yeah. Can he call? Yeah, we don't have this set up whatsoever.
Well, no. Well, because we expected it. We were just gonna do. And our idea is we were being a Discord server, but you can't be in a Discord server and a video call at the same time. So.
Yeah, we figured that out on the fly last time or something.
Yeah, we realized that.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
But so I don't know if call-ins are going to be an option.
Scuffed. Yeah,
pretty much, Tommy Dimmo.
Yeah,
pretty much. Sorry to disappoint you. But yeah, we definitely appreciate your enthusiasm. There's some other bills out there, or what's going on with the new Assassin's Creed?
The new Assassin's Creed, so yeah, supposedly it got leaked by good old 4chan. And it's a guy that's on there that's been he's known, he has a reputation for just going on 4chan pretty annually and just leaking a bunch of shit. And so far, so good. Like, he's been pretty accurate. It's the same dude that basically leaked like all of Origins and he basically said like a year before it even came out or was it announced, it just popped up on a 4chan board and he was just like, Origins is going to be in Egypt. It's all about that stuff. And he was right. So he came out again and basically leaked a bunch of other stuff, basically saying that Assassin's Creed is codenamed Kingdom and is planned to come out for cross-generation platforms in 2020, which is big news in itself because not only do we know that, yes, PlayStation 5 is coming out, but it's confirmed that it's not going to come out this year, but 2020 is, not that far away. And supposedly a new Xbox is coming. We talked about it last show too. Sony isn't going to have they're not going to be appearing at E3 this year, so everything's up in the air. So crazy to think that it's going to be a cross-gen game. So at least we know it's going to be on the next gen, the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox, but also be cross-compatible. So people on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 can still enjoy the game. The actual name that's supposedly titled is Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. It is basically split into several kingdoms of all of Great Britain, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland, and it's an Assassin's Creed Viking game. I'm all for that. I think a Viking game with Assassin's Creed kind of elements sounds pretty freaking dope. And it has kind of the same supposed RPG mechanics, eagle and ship combat, just like Origins did. Charlie, do you need another chippy? You want another chippy, Tubbs? You want chip? All right, hold on, a little intermission. Yeah. Come on into frame so I can bait you for views. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Oh,
That's a good boy. That's a good boy. You got a chippy. You're like, all right, dude, give me another. What is this? One chip, one Pringle. Is that all I'm worth to you? All right. So Assassin's Creed, Viking. Yeah, a lot of other stuff that they basically leaked as well. The player becomes an assassin, uses a hidden blade, just like every other Assassin's Creed. There's supposed to be large-scale conquest battles that are going to return.
Sounds like it's going to be a large map in general.
Yeah. Oh well, Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins, it was massive. The map was sick. So yeah, it's supposed to be split into several kingdoms, and if it's going to be Great Britain, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland, like that map must be huge. And I think Origins, it was like 125 gigs.
Oh my god!
For the size, yeah, it was a big game. So I can only imagine. And they've already said that it's being developed by Montreal, which is the OG Assassin's Creed creators. So it looks promising. We'll probably see more of it at E3 this year. But yeah, good old 4chan coming out with those Assassin's Creed leaks.
Wow.
This is probably the one. I mean, I'm all for Vikings, so maybe this will get me excited for another Assassin's Creed game. Darren or Jess start talking because my
I haven't played Assassin's Creed at all, so I don't know a lot about it.
There's so many of them, and
I know.
the character movement, like I believe when it first came out, it was like the first of its kind, and like the jumping and things like that. I know they went through a little bit of a lull, and then they came back hard. I never got back into it. I did play it, and I thought it was really cool. I thought it was like the type of game that I would always be playing because it was so cool, but it kind of fell off. The newer one, was very good. I didn't get into it, myself personally, so hard for me to, discuss it. But I do remember how cool it was to play and jump from rooftops to rooftops and things like that. That was pretty damn addicting, and I see why they're always a big deal, when they announce titles.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed is pretty. It's it's just one of those IPs. It's just like Call of Duty. They come out. It's for people that like and truly enjoy the Assassin's Creeds. It's just one of those like reliable yearly games that you're gonna get a pretty decent story out of, and I don't know, chase feathers around.
Any loot crates normally in Assassin's Creed? I can't remember. I don't think so.
I don't remember. And if anybody in chat also played Origins, or I don't think it did necessarily. I know it had DLC, and I believe it had a season pass.
It's a little different.
I wouldn't be surprised. I want to say yes, it did. I want to say it didn't have loot boxes, but it had cosmetics. I think you could buy like skins. I think.
Anybody in chat?
I don't know if they've are fans of Assassin's Creed or played it. Yeah. Did Assassin's Creed the latest one have either? Yeah, it had cosmetics. Okay, yeah, it had pay to win, not pay to win, pay to own cosmetics.
Pay to own cosmetics. Well, it's always exciting when new games are coming out. So that's going to be cross platform, but not.
Well,
What's it?
cross-gen.
Cross-gen.
So
Yeah.
cross-gen, so meaning it's going to be on the next-gen consoles and current
You'll be able
generation.
to play it on your PS4 or PS5,
Or PS5.
etc.
Yep,
Oh, cool.
exactly. And we talked about it on the last show too. I mean, it makes sense how we're going to have. I can see the PS4 and PS5 generation kind of sticking around for a while, kind of just like 360 and Xbox One did for a long time before a lot of people eventually did make the jump.
Well, yeah, and we also know Xbox is coming out with a new console that I don't believe they're giving any real information on,
Not yet.
but it's
Yeah,
Microsoft. These
probably
things
this year
are
E3 they'll show it off.
mini computers. They already sync up with your Windows 10.
Yeah.
It's they're definitely going to be a household item for a very long time, and I'm sure it'll be very successful. What else do we have in the news?
EA is always in the news because
As of late,
EA.
yeah.
Yeah. And basically, Electronic Arts, a couple days ago, they basically just came out and said the old way of releasing games doesn't work anymore. And it's kind of like a no shit, Fortnite disrupted the market, you idiots. Um, so EA, during their quarter 4 financial results, basically they were discussing Anthem. And they were saying, and they expected Anthem to be one of its biggest releases of the year.
Oh, it's a beautiful game aesthetically.
Beautiful game.
Yeah.
Did not live up to expectations. Had a bunch of problems. EA they reaffirmed that they're still supporting the game. They're still handling large live service game releases differently than it has in the past. They're trying to recover and recoup from Anthem and its severe loss because they genuinely thought that this was going to be like their game, their great new IP. Just grab a chippy for Charlie,
Oh, he's gonna learn. Squeeze that.
You're gonna
squeeze
train
that
him.
bone, and
I know,
he gets
he's
a
gonna,
chip.
I know. I know.
You're screwing
Maybe I should.
yourself.
He's just gonna start squeaking it all the time now for treats.
You're compounding the problem.
Pavlov's dog, literally.
Yeah, I mean he's already Pavlovian so hard. It's so bad. He'll do anything for a treat. It's disgusting.
So what was the old way of releasing a game?
I mean, really, the old way was, in general, you pay $60 for a title. That game, it's like good old Call of Duty, or what was the last truly successful EA game?
Oh man,
Let me think.
Madden.
How'd they do it right? No, Madden was riddled with shit. FIFA. Same thing. I feel like FIFA, though, is riddled with microtransactions. The last Battlefield, I don't know, Battlefield 5 kind of fell short. They always have their issues.
Well,
but
they own The Sims as well, right?
I was gonna say, I think Sims was a big deal when it came out, but people have been relatively angry with them recently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, also, if you want all of the packs, it's spend like $600.
Hundreds of dollars.
I've added it up. Even with discounts, it's like $650. That's like buying bundles and stuff.
And they faced a lot of backlash not that long ago because the pack they released to go with the big expansion pet pack,
right?
Bullshit. There was nothing useful in it,
and
it just like you had to own. Right? Yeah, you get hamsters, but you have to own the big pack to be able to use anything in it.
No.
Oh man,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
people were very angry about it. I refused to buy that pack, so.
Yeah, well, it's up to the community. They'll if it fails, they're gonna try another way, and they're really like trying to get blood out of a stone. When their community gives such backlash, and I really hope that's what they listen to. And
that's one of the things that I like about them is that their community managers are very, very responsive and very involved. So they've been facing a lot recently. So.
Well, the new way of releasing a game seems to be just put it in beta forever,
Yeah, it is, and it's these grindy online games, like Anthem, that I don't know. I guess it's what they basically said is it's not just an EA challenge, it's an industry-wide challenge. You're moving from what was initially, at least for Anthem, a BioWare game, which could be somewhere from 40 to 80 hours of offline play, to 40 to 80 hours of offline play plus 100 to 300 hours of like older online game, that happens with like millions of other players at a huge scale, because it's like Anthem is kind of like it's an MMO in a sense, the way that it works. Charlie, you're not getting a chip this time. Yeah, don't give me that look.
His eyes looking up at you like
I thought this is what you wanted.
Yeah.
No.
You said good boy.
No, I'm sorry.
I think we got to get Charlie on the show more often.
I know, yeah. You want to be my co-host? All right. Sick.
Yeah, Woozy's making a good point about EA in chat for sure. Yeah, you pay $20 for 10% content or more content with the full release 60% game. Like you just keep paying for more content.
Oh yeah. Content. And that's the unfortunate life that we're living at the moment, where you get a half finished product that you're paying full price for, and DLC and season pass that's day one that you have to pay extra for. And it's sad, but like even for like the Division and everything, like you'd have to get a deluxe edition or something with the season pass. And a $60 game is no longer a $60 game. It's a $100 game with microtransactions and loot boxes and just more money to spend on it. And that's the one thing that I don't like anymore, is that it's not fun. You're just spending money. You're spending way too much money to have fun, where before it was, you pay $60, that game is finished. It is a finished product. You can enjoy it. Yeah, Charlie. Yeah, that's what I mean. He agrees.
Now, what are some of the benefits of keeping a game in open beta? Aren't they able to come out with more and more of these microtransaction things like skins and stuff like that, like on a continual basis without having to like pass some type of board of inspectors or regulatory authority? Like is there some type of benefit for these companies to do that besides the fact that they can make a ton of money? But I feel like they're circumventing the general route of how they do things, and I bet you anything is to like bypass some type of regulatory authority on it. But
yeah, which I can see that kind of being a thing too. I mean, I do like open betas, and I like the idea of being able to try a game and have it, if it's usually open betas are usually free. It's for a test period just to get like, server usage and, data and diagnostics.
Yeah,
and
I think it has to do with the console companies like the Xbox and the PS4. Yeah. Like they don't want you to add to the full game. They
right. Yeah. And it's all of these like these early access games, and I don't mind early access in the sense of it's an indie, it's an indie developer, or it's, I don't know. I don't like bigger games in early access because I feel like, well, like, what am I giving my money to? Same thing. Like, I don't, and a lot of people have boycotted pre-ordering forever. I don't pre-order anything. Why would I do that? Firstly, I'm not going to give $60 to EA, for instance, and just have that be float for them.
Yeah.
Truly,
well, that's why
because they don't.
And then if you find out it doesn't work on your computer, so
yeah, right, exactly. Like go ahead and explain that story.
So, I love Fallout a lot.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite games ever. And when Fallout 4 was announced, they had the pre-order, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome! I definitely want to get this." My computer at the time, I thought I could run plenty of other games on it just fine, so I thought it would be totally fine and okay.
You had a decent laptop. It was like an i7. Yeah.
And so I pre-ordered it because I was like, I know I want to play this. This is going to be fantastic. Comes out, I can't play it. Every time I open it, it crashes. I think it was something with my video driver or something. Like it couldn't handle it. So I couldn't play that. That was what, $60 to start off with? Was it 60 or 70 at the time?
60. It depends if you bought the deluxe edition and stuff too, but yeah.
And then
it gets worse.
And then they came out with the season pass for all like the fun stuff that was going to come out, and I was like, all right, lit. I'm getting a new computer soon. This is going to be great. I'm going to make sure that it works on it. This is going to be fine. So I bought the season pass because I was they said something about like you buy this now and like you get access to everything, but there is the chance that like it's the price is going to go up the more stuff they release.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I'm just going to buy this now because like I have the money. I don't want to risk having to pay more later. I know I'm going to love this because at that point I had played it on an Xbox too, so like I knew that I liked the game. I got the new computer, which said that it was supposed to work on it. It doesn't. I still can't play it because something else just doesn't function right, or I don't know what's wrong with it. But I spent $80 on this game, and I have still to this day never played it on my computer.
Wow.
Wait, it still doesn't work.
Nope.
And reason unknown.
I have no idea. I don't even get an error message for this one. I don't know why it doesn't work.
That seems very disappointing, and
I'm very angry about
yeah,
it.
and I'm sure you've exhausted methods into trying to get it to work. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've checked Reddit and Google, and all right,
Yep.
that's pretty sad. And there's not really much compensation for you.
And especially after like all that time that had passed between me buying it and actually trying to play it, there was no
Yeah.
way that I could get anything back for it.
Yeah,
Of course, yeah, because I
Yeah.
think you have. Oh, I think it's only like 2 weeks through Steam. It's a very short time period, and if you play more than 30 minutes, it's just
Yeah.
you lose it. Yeah. Tommy Timbo, however, seems like he'll be your IT guy. He said, "I will fix it 100%." So you have the
Oh.
Tommy Timbo guarantee
Sure,
right there.
well, okay.
Um,
yeah,
Char-
and Woozy's actually bringing, a lot of good points up in chat. I have to give him credit for this. A lot of things that these companies are doing is they're making everything an esport, and they're forcing their games, to be, a battle royale, and
Yeah.
some have been very successful and some have flopped, but like I know for instance Fortnite's going to be in the news at 5 a.m. They're down, and their season 9 is coming out, and they have a battle pass and tons of microtransactions. They're trying really hard to be an esport, and their game is just so flawed, with bugs and stuff, on the competitive levels where you notice it. But also it's so unique that it has its own category. It's not like an Overwatch or a League of Legends and things like that. So like just creating this new esport, it's not even like CS:GO in any fact of the matter. It's not an arena game. And they're failing, but knowing that they went through such a lull in sales, and they basically almost just discontinued the game from where it was before its battle royale. The battle royale really did save them, and I mean, I play it now because it became a battle royale, and I would not have even entertained it in its original form. So like they're doing whatever they can with their software, and I think they are entitled to their microtransactions. But I do think they should have some type of parental lock, or something to verify your identity before you just spend $99 on some type of loot crate, or V bucks
Yep.
for that instance.
Oh, V-Bucks.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I have PTSD. Don't say that word.
Any more news, Jeff?
I think that kind of wraps it up for news. I believe so. Yeah. Kind of slow from the past 3 days. But,
Pretty much, Ernest.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I would like to get into asking Jessadoodle some questions. The first one is, did I even spell your name right on the camera frame on the actual stream? I've been worrying about that the whole
find
time.
out.
Yeah. I mean, there's no capital D,
Okay,
but it's
it's
No,
good. It's good
there's
enough.
no
All right.
caps.
All right. Yeah. So basically, tell us a little bit about yourself. You are an artist, right?
I am.
Okay.
I
So
am.
what type of art do you create?
I mostly do digital art. It depends on. Sorry, my camera's a little not great. Um, it depends on commissions, workload, whatever I'm doing. I mostly draw people. I'm not that great at animals and like crazy like mechanical stuff, but I'm working on that. I also do a lot of emote commissions, so like partnered and affiliated streamers now. I do a lot of emote work for them and banners and pages like that. So
You must have seen a little bit of a boom in business when Twitch changed their emote policy for affiliates with like 15 subs or something or more.
actually,
Yep.
at the time when they did that, my commissions were closed because
Ooh,
this is my last semester in college, so I've been working on thesis a lot
good
and
for you.
I
Yeah,
was very overwhelmed. And I specifically opened them just for emotes.
good for you.
And
Nice.
a couple of the people that I've done emote work for already that were affiliated actually contacted me and were like, "Hey, they did this thing and now we need more. Can you help?"
I
And I was
like
like,
your stuff. I need
"Yes,
matching more stuff.
yes, I
Yeah.
can."
That's awesome. Now, what I stream and I've I have a couple emotes myself. I love my emotes, but like what would you say is generally like a current rate for like a new streamer, not very popular, needs one emote? You
It
know,
depends on the artist you go to. There are definitely plenty that will do it for like 10, 15 for like one emote or two. It depends on the artist rates. It depends on how much time they spend on their work, how
of
much work
course,
they put
yeah.
into it. I know for me, I very likely underpriced mine. Actually, my emotes are um, about 30 a piece, but I have a if you do like 6 or 10, I don't know. I have a couple different discounted
Gotcha.
prices, but for the work that I put into it and the quality of them, there are other artists that I have seen that have charged as much as 50 or 60 a piece, and they can do that
Mm.
because the people that do want that work and that do value that work as much as the artist does, they'll happily pay for it. And a lot of times there'll be bigger streamers that do that.
Mm.
So
And
it depends on the
they
artist.
buy it once and they own it forever, you know.
Exactly.
So
Right.
it's now their
Yeah.
property thanks to
Exactly.
Jessadoodle
Yeah.
or whoever. And
Which is nuts. It's full rights. So
so what do you think your favorite job was? You know, in the within let's keep it within streaming. You know, and artwork. What do you think your favorite emote
So
was?
my my favorite is by far the first one that I ever did.
Nice.
Actually, the second one, because the second thing that I did was actually my first commission ever. The first work that I did was for Bring the Party Josh, who has been on here.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Um,
I think you might have mentioned that.
and
yeah.
he is actually how I got my first commissioned work. Because at the time, Lil Simsy, who I mentioned earlier, was looking for a new emote artist. And Josh was very into The Sims at the time, very connected with the Sims community. And he and a couple people in his community actually reached out to her and were like, "Hey, you should contact Jess because she's really good at this and she did Josh's." And she messaged me on Twitter and she was like, "Hey, so I heard you do emotes. I heard you do commissions. I need 18 of them."
Mm.
I was like, "Okay." Um,
Pretty hefty
that
first
that
order.
eventually made it. That very quickly made its way up to 21. And now I think at this point I've done or somewhere around 35, 40 for her, and I'm working on a new one right now.
Nice. Pretty solid. You must have good stuff. I'd love to see it sometime. Um,
I just put my portfolio in the chat.
Yeah,
Actually,
please
for
do
people
so.
that are asking.
I'm actually going to be losing that link soon.
Are you?
That's sad. Tell us
Because
about that.
so
Yeah. Why is that?
in the art community, very recently there has been a big uproar because Adobe is raising their monthly subscription price of the Photoshop like miniature package. It's like Photoshop, Lightroom, and Spark something. Right now it's $10 a month.
Right.
You get
Not bad.
Photoshop and those other two programs, and you also get to use their portfolio site for your portfolio, which is what I do right now. They're doubling the price to 20 a month,
Ew.
which for a great many of us is no longer worth it. It's not worth paying 20 a month for just 3 apps and a portfolio. It's
Yeah.
way too much money, especially for me because the only thing that I really use Photoshop for at the moment is like resizing the files for emotes. So I
Right.
actually need to find a new portfolio site, and I'm really angry about it.
When does that kick in?
I believe next month.
Oh boy.
What Adobe was saying was that we're testing this raise in price, which sounds absurd, and I don't know why that is the response to what has been
Pretty
going on.
interesting. The
Because
PR statement. Yeah.
they have
Can you guys
they've
afford this or what? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not listening to the community at all. I don't know what their response has been so far about what the community backlash has been. I know that people are really angry because part of the reason why they're raising their prices is because they've been losing business to Procreate, because Procreate is a one-time buy. It's not like a computer app you can use. It's actually on the iPad. But it's a one-time buy for $10 and it does everything Photoshop does.
Wow.
So it's very honestly, I think it's more user friendly than Photoshop.
I might actually download that later. That sounds really cool.
I use it way more frequently than I even use the other apps on my computer now. So
yeah, what's it called?
Procreate?
Procreate?
Yeah. But I guess part of the reason they're raising prices is because they're struggling to pull business for like these smaller packages.
Right.
Which is not helpful to anyone.
Well, whatever it is, when we do post this video live onto YouTube, we will edit the comments with the link to your portfolio if if you choose it to be there or not. Yeah, so that's really cool. And you also play games, you were saying.
I do.
So did you ever get a chance to play Fallout 4?
I have played it on the Xbox.
Okay.
All right.
Not on my. I still have not played it on my own computer, but it's okay.
You have played it on a computer?
No.
Oh, okay. Too soon.
Just Xbox.
Still.
I've only played the Xbox version.
All right.
Which saddens me because I like playing PC better. Especially with the mod capabilities, because I have New Vegas on my computer actually, and I have Nexus, so I have like 8 million mods downloaded for it. So it was really frustrating when I found out I couldn't play the new one on here.
Yeah. Can I have to play vanilla?
Yeah. No, not really, because I can't.
True.
Outside of that though, for streaming purposes, I mostly play like Stardew and Sims and relatively low demand games for as far as like my computer and like moving things around and action type stuff. Because if I'm streaming, my computer has a very hard time keeping up with everything. Off of stream though, I can play like more like in-depth crazy stuff.
Of course,
I play Titanfall pretty frequently on here. There's a couple other weird odds and ends games that I've been playing off stream because I can't play them on stream.
Right. I mean, I see the streams that you do of The Sims. It seems like it runs smoothly. So surprisingly,
the only hiccup I have when I'm playing Sims on stream is that during load screens, my camera just lags and stops functioning for a little bit. But once it's loaded up, it's fine.
Yeah.
Are you using the camera? Too. Are you using the camera in the laptop screen?
I am not. I actually have a
external
one that I'm using. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it's probably just the CPU just like pooping the bed.
Just can't handle it. But it works for what I need for now.
So how long have you been doing digital art, and is it really just for, directed towards streaming and Twitch, or do you do other things as well?
I got my first tablet in, I want to say 6th grade.
Okay, wow.
I've been doing art for as long as I can remember, but I got my first tablet in like 6th grade. It was a Wacom Bamboo. Love that thing. I had it for 7 years. I had to get rid of it not that long ago. It was while I've been here at Quinnipiac. I had to get rid of it because I plugged it in and the pen just wasn't working. So we were like, okay, I guess it's time, because again, it was 7 years old. So I actually have an Intuos now. But most of the work that I have been, because I've been so busy, all of the digital work I've been doing has been commission related. But now that things have calmed down, I actually have time to do like more personal work. But honestly, like I said before, I don't even really use my computer programs anymore. I got an iPad for Christmas this past year, so I've been mostly using Procreate and programs on there to do everything.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow. So what type of? Oh, so you have the iPad now. The iPads seem really cool. Especially the newer ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. One of my tattoo artists uses, a Mac book or something like that.
Yeah. I got a new tattoo. Like, I think the second week. It was in April, and I got there and I've gone to the guy before. He's done my other two. And he has now switched over to using an iPad to do all his work.
I
It's
couldn't
really
believe
cool.
I couldn't believe it. At first I was a little skeptical, then I saw what he was doing. I'm like, whoa! And
It looks so good.
I was like,
It
wow,
does look
all
so
right,
good, yeah.
you know, at ease, you know, continuing through with this tattoo.
Yep. I was at a tattoo shop like a couple weeks ago as well,
the iPad
and
Pro.
same thing. Yeah, they were both of them were on iPad Pros, drawn on it, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. I mean, with the Apple Pen, I mean, it's like 1-to-1. I mean, it's
so
great.
clean. They look beautiful.
Yeah.
So are commissions open, or are you pretty much booked up?
They're going to be reopened soon. I have a couple emotes to do for friends, but I haven't officially reopened them yet because I still need to like find another job and figure
where
stuff
would
out
we
before I go home.
And where would we find you to find out that commissions are open again for people that are listening to this in the future on YouTube or in audio format on SoundCloud? Ooh, spicy. Yeah, where would they find that?
You can contact me right now in my contact page that you can go through, but also if you are, I'm on Discord and I'm also on Twitter. A lot of people message me through Twitter to get to me, so my Twitter name is the same as my Twitch username.
So at Jessadoodle. Okay.
Yes.
With 2 S's, right?
With 2 S's.
Okay, I was still a little worried.
It's Jess and Doodle with an A in the middle.
Got it. Done.
There you go.
That's great. So what other things do you like to do? Like besides art and look for a job and school and Quinnipiac? Where's Quinnipiac? New York or something?
No, it's in Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
Well, I work at a liquor store, so that's fun.
Yeah, I bet.
But I don't right now. Right now, I haven't. This past semester has been I've been basically working a full-time job. I work 40 hours a week, and I do that on top of classes and thesis and on top of streaming as well.
So you're booked.
So I have not, that's why commissions were closed, because I have not had time really to breathe.
Gotcha.
But when I am not under the crippling pile of schoolwork and work, I draw frequently. I like hiking. I like being outside. I live in Rhode Island normally, so the beach is like my second home.
Cool. Cool. The ocean state.
The ocean state, not actually an island.
Yeah.
For those of you not from here.
Yeah, right. When are you coming back? So you're done. You're graduating in 10 days.
I'm done on the 18th.
Oh,
congratulations!
I will be coming home right after that.
Nice.
I gotta pack.
Yeah, you gotta pack. Gotta
if you
get
don't
everything
see
out.
the things happening behind me,
I do.
I'm not packed.
Yeah, I need to do that a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
I have a couple more art questions, if you don't mind.
Okay. Absolutely.
I've gotten a lot of artwork done. I'm a business owner, and even for my own like Twitch, which I'm not doing it for business purposes, but I've always wondered the artist's perspective. You get somebody's vision, right? And I do work with the general public, so I kind of understand how the general public can be. But how is it like doing renditions or things like that? Do you offer that in your services? And like, could you have any like funny stories that you don't have to mention names or anything like that?
I have been very fortunate, actually. I have not had any nightmare clients yet.
Okay.
I imagine
so
I'm going to.
You knew where I was
point,
headed with this,
but
right? Okay.
I have not yet. However, I have seen a couple nightmare stories. One of them in particular was very recent. It was from an artist that I follow. She's absolutely amazing. Somebody who had commissioned her contacted her and was like, hey, this is after the commission was done. This is like a while later. She's like, hey, can I get a refund? Because I don't own this character anymore. And I can't own this art anymore. So I need a refund because I'm not going to use it anymore. The artist was like, no.
Wow.
It's not how that works.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
What?
I personally have been fortunate enough to not have any experiences like that. I have, just as every other artist I'm sure has had the experience of family members offering up your services to other family members for no charge, family members asking me to do things for them for no money at all, not even to pay me. I've done a number of things for my aunt because I just don't want to deal with it. So I just do it
Hope
because
she's not
my
listening right now. Yeah.
which is really frustrating because I less so for me, but for a lot of the artists that do have to face this very frequently, this is their job, this is their means of income. Like if you were their family member and you walked into their place at the movie theater, you wouldn't be like, yo, give me a free ticket, I'm going to this movie. You would pay them because that's what you do and that's their job, it's what they're doing to make their money. So it's really frustrating.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the
To
best
not
way
even be
to
offered.
yeah, the best way to support your friends or family is to actually pay full price for their
Exactly.
services
Oh,
and
And
yeah.
do it with a smile.
I have
Yeah.
like a lot of my friends who I do work for, they actually like I invoice them and they'll very frequently tip me because like they do value my work and they do know that this is what I'm doing. And I think that that's something really important to do. If you go to an artist and you want something done and you know you're going to pay them, you should consider tipping them. I think it's
Mm.
very kind of a common courtesy thing. Like you go to a tattoo artist, you
Yeah,
tip
it's
them
just
because they spent their time doing that. They did their work for you. They made this thing for you out of their own time and effort. And I think that that should become a much more common practice because I know that for a lot of people it isn't.
right.
What do you think like a decent percentage for a tip is? Like the same as like a restaurant tip or something like that, or maybe a little
I
more or a little
know
less? Yeah.
when I go to the tattoo artist, I follow the 20%.
Cool.
Like that's what I tip at restaurants. That's what I tip artists.
Cool. Cool. That I've always wondered that. I tip my tattoo artist
Mm-hmm.
too, and I love him to death, you know, and I entrust his services on me forever.
Exactly.
And I tip at the restaurant too, even though when I probably shouldn't and got really bad service, I just feel obligated to do so. And you know,
Mm.
I feel like if you can't afford that tip, don't ask for the art or
Exactly. And
don't ask for
especially
No.
the yeah.
because there are so many artists that do undercharge and don't value their work maybe as much as they should because like they're like, I need people to buy this from me. I need them to give me money because I need to survive and eat.
Mhm.
So a lot of people will end up undercharging because they don't know how to calculate the proper amount. And I know that I'm definitely guilty of that. But I did recently find a really cool resource that adds up everything and figures
Wow.
out what you need to do. So I haven't done that yet. I will very likely be doing that before I reopen commissions again, and that's part of the
Right.
reason why it's taking me a while to get to that point.
Right.
So
I always use sites like Fiverr or Fiverr. I say it both ways now. I've been corrected a few times.
Fiverr.
Do you recommend other aspiring artists or hustlers in the field to like use services like that, or is that more so reserved
what
for?
is it?
Okay, so for instance, if I need a logo concept, you know, you could pay all sorts of amounts, anywhere from like $500 to $500, depending on the artist
Yeah.
and their work. So you don't know much about it. Yes. So it'd probably be hard for you to answer the question, but it's basically people selling their art or services at very commission-based work at very
Yeah.
discounted prices, and you kind of get what you pay for, at least from my experiences. And my
Yeah.
question to you would be like, would you recommend that to somebody, or do you say stick to your guns, and you know, even if you deserve to be paid full cost or what it's worth. Like, would you recommend someone kind of cheaping out or putting too much heart into it just because they worry about their client very much? Or do you say keep it like a business, hour per hour, take a lot of notes on all of your resources used and et cetera, get down to the math. Like, what do you think is best for someone starting off, winging it or going very, I'm an accountant on the side and I know how much this costs, like, so, like, what would you recommend for an aspiring new artist?
I know it also depends on what type of artist you are. Like I am most definitely not a graphic designer. Like logos for me, like first of all, I am not at all familiar with the legal stuff. I don't know about the paperwork. I don't know how the right sign off works. I don't know any of that. So like logo work and graphic design and stuff like that that's going to be used for commercial use is not something that someone like me would be able to price out and figure out because I'm not familiar with anything like that.
Right.
For artists that are more into like what I do, where it's like commissions of like people and portraits and stuff like that, or emotes even, um, I I tend to look at like a lot of like I follow a crap load of artists on Instagram, so many, and what I started doing when I was trying to decide when I first opened up commissions what to price things at, I was looking at their commission sheets and what they were charging and how they were charging and what they were charging for, and using that kind of as like a standpoint and like a baseline for what to look at. But I think it also depends on skill level. If you're an artist that, if your art's like fantastic and you're doing great and like you want to open commissions, you have to take into consideration how. Like, I know when I started doing emotes...
Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry. You cut out there for a second.
That's okay. I think that it depends on your skill level and how long it takes you to do things. So, like, I know I personally, when I first started doing emotes, it would take me probably 3 to 4 hours per an emote because, like, I hadn't done it that much and I didn't have the practice and I didn't really, like, I had to do a lot of playing around with sizing and figuring out what worked and what didn't.
So do you charge for research and development or whatever, or like?
I personally don't.
Okay.
But like over time, I figured out like what price works.
What's the best for you? Yeah.
Yeah, because like especially now, like now that I've been doing it for so long, I can get one done in like an hour and a half. It'd be good.
So as you're learning, sometimes artists it can take a hit on the amount of hours they might have to research how to do something before they actually do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that that's important to take into consideration when you're doing your pricing. If you, I know that there are some artists who I have set rates, but there are some artists who what they'll do is they'll charge like a percentage or like just like a certain amount. It'd be like, depending on how big the commission is, be like, oh, it's $100, right? Pay the $100, then we'll go hourly at anything over like however much they're paying. Say they're doing $20 an hour. Anything over 5 hours, you charge extra money for.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a factor I never really considered could be a thing. Wow.
Because I know there's some artists who do that.
Yeah. Because it takes up so much of their time.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, wow. That plays a factor in many other lines of work as well. But I think that's pretty much all the questions I have. I don't know if JJ has anything to ask or add to.
You kind of covered a lot of it.
I did. I took up some time there.
Yeah, you did. It was nice, though. I mean, I just have to just say, because in the chat, CoopJ21 states, I put peanut butter and jelly in the ass. I call it peanut butter and jelly ass sandwich, but you're going to be calling it lunch. He got us. I just want to say. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that makes me hungry. No.
yeah, right. Yeah, share the food, fam.
Thanks for that, Coop.
Thanks, Coop.
Yeah, just tell us more about where to reach you, where to find you, just in case anybody did miss it.
So I am available on Twitch under Jessadoodle. I'm available on Twitter under the same name, and my Instagram name is actually not Jessadoodle. It is my name is not Tree, because a lot of people pronounce my last name wrong. It's not pronounced Tree. So, those are the best places to reach me.
Yeah, and all of that is going to be in the description below, so go ahead and click on that if you want to know more, and follow and stalk Jess's life.
Yeah.
If you'd rather email, there is a contact form. If you go onto my portfolio, there's a contact form in there that you can get through to my email.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, Jess, thanks so much for joining us and being a part
of
our podcast. I definitely enjoyed myself and learned a lot more than I would have imagined. And yeah, it was awesome. Wish I had more questions for you. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. It's pretty much going to wrap up our show. Am I missing anything, JJ?
I think for the most part, we're pretty much good. For everything on our end, you can watch us live. We are live right now at twitch.tv/friends of the internet. You can follow us on Twitter as well. Stay up to date. I've been using the Twitter a lot. Been doing some like news and stuff that I talk about on the podcast for the coming episodes. And of course, when we go live. So go ahead and check out all that social media. We've got our YouTube account, and of course for all of the audio listeners, our SoundCloud as well. So all of those links are going to be in the description below. It's a bunch of it.
And I think
And
we have a tentative schedule now, right?
yeah, we do. So now we're going to be going live on Sundays and Wednesdays. Sundays, it seems like it might be around the 8 to 9 range. Either way, Wednesdays, it's going to be around this time, like 10:30 or so, a little later. So if you can't catch us live, hopefully you're rewatching either the VOD on Twitch or YouTube or listening to it. And yeah, you can find us nearly everywhere nowadays. So Sundays and Wednesdays, those are
All
the
right,
days.
guys. Look forward to catching you all then, and I hope everyone has a good night.
Bye.